Welcome, everybody. Gup here again, version 2 of the PGA Tools Research Center for Gup's Corner. Just had a major update a couple of weeks ago, so we wanted to go over some of those new enhanced features that we have, along with some of the other cosmetic stuff we've done for current members and new people that may be wanting to take a look. If you are not a current member, you can go into the homepage, just gupscorner.com, go to memberships, check out any of these packages you would like to, full site, content analysis, combo golf, combo football. You can read all about them. Full package obviously gets you everything on our site, all tools packages, one price, you're locked in for life. With this video going out, we're kicking off our DFS Open for the Honda Classic week next week. The code DFS Open will get you 30% off any package, monthly or annually, locked in for life. So whichever one you choose, you can get 30% off. That code is now active, and so you can use that code if you are not a current member and check out one of these. If you just want to check out a month with the 30% off, you can do that, or an annual if you'd like to take that on. You can see all of our packages cover everything as far as, so if you get a content, you don't want the tools, you can do content only, and it covers PGA, NFL's, college football, NBA. We're dabbling in XFL, NASCAR, horse racing when it's around. Everything you could think of is on here. But the reason why most of you guys are here for the PGA Tools, so I'm going to kick it off there. You can see we have your own access there. The Research Center and the live tournament board has just had a few updates. The major ones, the PGA model, I'll get to that here in a second. The Research Center, you can see that we're on the WGC that kicks off tomorrow. This is a good one to kind of check out this week. Your first filter, you can, all players, if you want to look at the data just with people playing this week, you can choose that. I typically leave all for this. One thing about this event that I like, and to kind of use it for this, is because this event started here in 17, if you don't want to see the data from Trump National, you can just uncheck 16 and it takes it out. And so even in the event side, all you're going to see is stuff that's played at this course. That comes in handy several times throughout the year when tournaments move venues. I kind of start here most weeks because I like to see, and all these tabs are going to be the same, but I like to see between the 5-6 tabs what key metrics and stuff seem to stick out between top 5, top 10, top 20. We also have an enhancement coming that probably in the next 2 weeks that'll compare this to the year-to-date averages across the tournaments to say, all right, this tournament, strokes gained off the tee seems to have the most, or the 8th most importance compared to the last, year full of tournaments on a comparison basis. So that'll be a nice update. It's already done. We're just going to push it here in a little bit. But anyways, you can kind of go through each of these categories, all the stroke gain, DFS. So if you just want to look at DFS scoring for this tournament, this is good to look at because you may have a week like last week where it's a lot lower and this one's higher, to kind of tell if you want to focus on birdie or better, stuff like that. Driving stats, fairways and regulations, accurate drives, good drives, great drives, approach. You get to see your average proximity, greens and reg, accurate, good, and great drives, and then putting, always important. You can kind of tell as you get used to doing this week in and week out, you can kind of get used to, man, that's a lot of putts or a lot of putts made. Typically, obviously, the top guys are probably going to have more feet made, but not always. So it's something I like to look at. So let's just go back to strokes gained. So this is just a summary view. You can go to the leaderboard, and what this will do, depending on, you can show as many as you want. Let's say you just want to see the best round or best tournament events out here since the years you got checked. DJ has the best score, Phil, then Rory. You can kind of see, I like to look at this sometimes because I like to see what have the guys that have won here or finished up high done well in these key categories. So that's kind of when I start making my notes on Sunday night for the next week. That's one of the things I like to look at. This is all event totals. So this is going to be DJ for 2019, his event totals. If you want to get even more into it, you can go to round totals, same deal. Leaderboard, going to be the same thing. Now it's going to show every single round, not just all the, like DJ's last year was summed up on that one. You can come into the leaderboard, all entries, and I did all, so it took a little second, and then go all par and say, all right, here's the best rounds out here over these last 4 years at this course, and kind of take a look at same deal, but more in depth because you're looking at every single round instead of just how the guy do for the whole event. And it may stick out something. You may see a guy he had a hot putter, and that's why he had a hot round and wound up winning the tournament, so on and so forth. You can dive into this as many different ways as you want, but I wanted to touch on it real quick. Course research, I'll do. I'm sorry, do last. Field research. This is more. I more do this after when I'm doing deep dive stuff and I've kind of got my first player pool cut and I'm really trying to X some people out. So let's just say 24 seems to be a good number. You go all the way up to 192 rounds, kind of extreme, but some people like that. Strokes gained. All this is going to show is the last 24 rounds that player has registered on the PGA Tour, regardless of conditions, course, whatever. What I like about it is you can look at the detail of the guys. So let's say I like to look at Fleetwood because he hasn't played much, and when he has played over here lately, it's been non-shot tracker. So I'm going to go to Fleetwood, and this caught my eye because I'm like, why is he off a little bit on my statistical model this week? And well, if you come and look at his last 24 rounds, the last 12 of them, there's no shot tracker, so he's not going to have as many detailed rounds as some of the other players because he hasn't played much over here in the new year after the fall swing. But it will show his full 24 rounds here. Let's say I'm checking out Bryson. Where is he trending this week? I like to see their trends here, and this shows it directly for me. So I can go back his last 24 rounds. It gives me two things. Well, how many has he played? How far is this going back? So for him, it's going back in August. Some of these guys that play the fall swing a lot, it may only go back, to October. So I like to kind of look at that, especially when I'm deep diving in the pool. This is an easy way to look at the guys. Benny on. Someone may go, man, I hadn't seen him play in a while. What happened? Oh, he had a baby, but he's back. Yada, yada. I mean, any of these guys in the field you can look at and go that in depth. And you can do this for all categories. How has he been scoring DK wise? Driving, all the same stats are there that we've looked at. You can dig into it. Don't want to bore you with it, but did want to show you kind of, top things that I like to look at. And you can use the basic stats here and look at over the last 24 rounds, who's had, most eagles, stuff like that, and just deep dive all you want. If something looks odd, then you may go to the detail and go, well, where's this really going back to? And you can see right here, like he only has 4 rounds counting where he has 24. So Matsu a little bit better in the sense that more data, a bigger sample size. So that's something I like to look at, when I'm kicking off the week. The course research is kind of where for me that I like to get my research before the pod on Monday on how's the course set up normally. If there's a certain year that there was odd weather or something, I'll go look at that individual year so I can kind of see what was different. This year I'm just looking at last year, and I just want to see. I get how many par 4s, how many par 5s, what's it playing to, what's the holes look like. I can see how many eagles, how many birdies, par, bogeys, doubles, other, scoring to par, DK points, and FanDuel points. So I can get all of that right there, or I can drop down here and see every single round how it played. So if I want to look at last year and go, man, I thought last year's second day was really hard, I can go down here and look at every hole for that second day and see how did it play, compared to par and stuff like that. Easiest way to do this is just, you can just highlight this, scrape it out, drop it in Excel, mess it around however you want to do it. We will have Excel buttons on here soon too for this part. The rest of the site the rest of the tools have an Excel drop, but I like doing that, just kind of get the basis of how the tournament normally plays. You can look at any year you want going back. Obviously, like I said, 16 is going to show Trump, so totally different course. I didn't really use that much this week. So that's kind of I'll show you the live tournament tool even though we're on, but we'll go look at last week. If you hadn't seen this yet, this is kind of, we're about to make 2 enhancements to hit here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to go backwards to Genesis. This is good because you can go backwards and look at the stuff if there's something on here you like. And like I said, you got the Excel buttons here. So last week, obviously, Adam Scott, fairway, green, points. Those aren't final. I think those are raw points, so no bonuses. You can look at the scorecards. So here's round 4. Here's how they scored. You can do 2 par strokes, DraftKings scoring, anything you want for any round of last week or any week if you want to go back and kind of see how each player scored. You can show as many entries as you want. You can search for a player if you just don't want to scroll through it all, however you want to do that. Obviously, we got the round scoring. It kind of shows us what played the hardest, what played the weakest. I may make notes out of this in case I go, man, remember round, maybe we'll look at round 4. Man, the wind was really up. Make note of it next year. It wasn't really, I'm just saying that hypothetically. I kind of look at that at the end of the day, especially Sunday. Hole scoring, same deal. How did each hole score that day? I look at this for showdown and stuff to kind of see, are Eagles, being had, stuff like that. Is it playing really tough? How many holes? Maybe it's a split tee, and I want to see, okay, well, the back nine just starting really easy, and I want to go target guys that are going off early and starting the back nine. This really simplifies it for me and lets me see that. We just added wave splits, so you can do by round, by wave. We've got round scoring, par, birdie or better, bogey, DK. This really helps in big weather advantage type situations, because we can look at how everybody scored. We got all these, and then the driving and approach, and then, opportunities, or how many approaches inside 6, 12, 18, 30 feet, scoring ops and scoring conversions. So really neat feature that we've added. We'll make this more cosmetic here in a little bit. We just added this 2 weeks ago, I think. Obviously, for the week, we'll have weather finders and information up there, even for the current week. For showdown, this is kind of where the bread and butter comes in on live stroke gain data for all the players at any time. A lot of guys coming here, you can pull it. So if you go, this gives you the overview for through the tournament. So if it's through round two, if you want to see the detail, so you can go, well, how's he been playing off the tee? I like this because you can see if he had one good day, one bad day, especially if I'm looking at round 4 information to kind of see has he been trending upwards. Did he suck on Thursday and then really good? Well, maybe he's going to play really good, but he may not rate out through 3 rounds the best, but the last 2 days he may have played the best. That's kind of the stuff that I like to look at. Approach, same thing. All of it's there for every round. Great information there. Fairway data, greens data, all great stuff. Obviously, we have tee times loaded once we get them, so you can come in here and see what the tee time splits are for the next day. Who's going off early? Who's going off late? You can drop it into Excel if you want to build your own little model. DFS, we'll have the slates up there. So right now you can see Mexico PGA Tour. If you need salaries, basically is what it goes to. And then on the contest side, we got, okay, here's all the contests. Here's a 444, 10% rake. It's not full yet. There's only 711 entries, stuff like that. If guys are looking to see this, a little bit better viewing than scrolling through DraftKings, I guess it's a good way to come in. I don't think a lot of people even know we have some of this, even our current members. So I just want to touch on that real quick. Soon we'll have the contest sweat tool as well. Right now it's not fully done, which will be customizable to the user, so you can kind of look at your individual stuff. Neat feature that ADHD is working on there. Kind of the bread and butter. Take a quick drink of water. We're keeping this real short because I don't want to bore everybody. I'm going to do a very in-depth dive. What I'm going to do one week, without giving away just too much stuff, is I'm going to probably record some highlights of my process through this for a week, and then I'll release the video after the tournament obviously starts, but it'll be for members only. So that's my next project. Obviously going to be gone all next week for the Honda, but as soon as I get back from that, that's something I'm going to do for the members so I can deep dive into it. I'm going to hit on some stuff here just so people know it, that'll help the members. This is a 2-week slate or 2 tournament slate. So, obviously you want to make sure you select the right one when you're coming there and look at your model. I like to only look at the field only. Some people just want to look at everybody, how they look at their model. This is global input. So anything you put in here, and once we apply it, it's going to apply it to all the stats you can do. You do have the capability to, maybe on putting, you only want to look at certain grass type, and I'll get into that in a second. But this was kind of our big enhancement for the, building the model. So let's have a look at the last 24 rounds. I want the guy to at least play 4 rounds. I only want to go back. Let's just say I want to go back, to July, 6 months or so. You can go back as much as, let's do June, as much as you want or as little as you want. This is key because if you don't select the right amount of minimum rounds and the guys haven't registered stroke data, it'll throw off a little bit. So be careful on the date range and the min rounds. If you're having trouble, I'd play with those a little bit to see what you want. Let's say I'm going to do all courses this week just to keep it easy. But if you only want to pick, I think this course is only like about 6 or 7 courses. You can go in here, select none, and just select the 6 you want, and that's all it's going to be in there. Same with fairway type, same with grass type, same with rough type. You can customize it any way you want. So the next thing you do is you just hit prep global data to model. The key about this is the kind of the first couple times you get used to doing all this is just to be, a hair patient to let it run. The first time or two that people are doing it, I think they're getting a little ahead of themselves, and it's not running, on time for them, and they think they're ahead of it, and they get, lose track of what's going on. Um, so there you go. So it's a busy night, Wednesday night. So when I click it, make sure you see the green screen is loading all this in the background, so it takes it to all your calcs. We added this because people were getting real handsy, I think, and getting ahead of it. And then let's say you want to come in here and your first stat's going to be T to green. You name it, whatever. The system will pick it up, but just for you, you hit add calc to mock. The first calc that you add, it takes just a little longer than the others. After that, it goes pretty fast. But in the end, I'll have this whole model done within less than 2 minutes, probably. For future, you'll be able to come down here to Glossary and see any of the terms you're wanting to use. You can go down here to the Glossary and look at every single deal, and you can tell what we define it as. So different sites may define it as different deals. Birdie or better. We have a ton of them. You start getting into, well, how do you guys define? I think I'm getting ahead of it now. Hold on, let this do that. How do I define good drive, accurate drive, stuff like that? So you can kind of see I almost got too far ahead of it. So you got to let that thing run. It's Wednesday night, so I forgot to let it run a little more. If it's like Monday morning, you're the first one on, you're not going to have much issues. But I'll go back to this real quick. So you can come down here and look at, okay, how do you guys define good approach, great approach, accurate approach? It's all within there. You can kind of check it out, do what you want to do there. So T to green, you can name this whatever, and it doesn't mean that. You can just say stat 1, stat 2, stat 3. It won't matter. But so strokes gained, T to green, I'm going to weight it, 15%. I'm going to do the next one because this will be good. I want to look at putting this week because I think POA matters. So I'm going to add that calc. You can tell how much quicker the second one popped up there than the other ones. It's just kind of building the base. So I come over here and I'm going to go putting. Strokes gained, putting. I only want it to be 10%, but I don't want to use the global filters because I only want to see POA. Let's just call it that. You can go to local data, and let's say on putting, because POA, they don't play a lot. I'm going to go, 36 rounds. I'm only going to make it be min 2, but I'm going to go back a year because we don't know. There's not a whole lot of POA. It's not as prevalent as some of the other types of grass. I'm going to go back a year. Everything else I don't care about, but I want to make sure the green grass is POA. So I'm going to go POA, and that's it. You're done. And so we're going to go, let's say, I think scoring opportunities inside 18. This week it's going to be 12 feet. Smaller greens is important. So I'm going to add that calc. I'm going to come down here. Scoring ops inside 12 feet, 20%, good to go. I'm going to go good approaches for me is going to be important to me this week. Add the calc. And see, if you don't select local, it defaults to all this. This is one of the big enhancements we made to keep things from bogging up. So I go to approach, good approaches, make it 25%. So I got, 15, 25, 45, 70%. When you go to the next tab, it checks for you, but let's just say, so let's go ball striking. Always important, right? So throw it in there, something to be easy and quick. You can tell after you kind of got through that one and that one, it goes really quick. So I think a lot of guys jump the gun and they get disconnected and stuff. So that's why I want to kind of point that out. This is a good night to do it on Wednesday night because I know there's a bunch of people on right now. Let's say, make that 15%, and then I'm going to throw in par 5 DK scoring because it's important this week. We think it is. I'm just making it up. I don't, this is just a fake model, but it could be important. So we go scoring, DraftKings, par 5, another 15%. All right, so I got everything in. The only thing I wanted to customize was strokes gained putting. So it's defaulted to local. Good to go. Now I'm ready to build my model. So you click it, be patient. I think this is the biggest thing I'll stress, even in the community. One thing about here is once it runs, it's over. It's quick. You just got to be patient up front. Then I go to model output. You can kind of see, okay, I got 100 weight. So I got my weight the way I want it. Let's double check. Yep. Dates are all the set. Oh, that one's different. Oh, that's putting. I wanted that one to be different. Awesome. You can scroll down here if you want. You can click output, just as easy as that. Nope, there's my model. And there you go. So you got your tee to green, your putting, ops inside, good approach, ball striking. In this model, Rory's number 1, JT's number 2, Morcal's number 3. What you'll notice is like, why don't they say 1 through whatever? So what this is if you ran it for all players in this model, so if you ran the entire PGA Tour that's in there, Rory would rank 5th on the terms that I did it. This is just for the field only, so that's kind of why you'll notice that. But real quick and easy, you can sort these any way you want, look at stuff. If something looks off, you don't like it, close out of there. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to tee to green. I think that's more important. So I'm going to make it 25%. I'm going to go to good approach and make it 20, and par 5 is not important. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. So yeah, that seems about right. Let's run it. That easy. Come back over here and I go, oh shoot, only 90%. It's going to run it because we don't want to restrict people and get them frustrated, but that's your check. So I got to do 10%. Let's make putting 15%. And let's bump this up to 25% because I want guys that are going to stick it close. That easy. Build the model. Come over here. Everything's adjusted, right? You can get all your event data here, your course data here that it's looking at, min round data here. So it talks about the minimum rounds. Anything you want to look at in detail is all right there. That we're still working on. But this isn't good enough. I really want to do 28 rounds. I think I messed up. I want to go a little longer. Let's do 28 rounds. Now, I've changed the global setting. So I have to re-prep the model. You'll notice it does go quicker this time than the first time I prepped it, but you still have to re-prep it. The nice thing is you don't have to recalc everything. You just have to re-prep the model, click build. ADHD with the nice. He told me what the word is on this, and you know me, I can't pronounce word, but it's nice. Model output. Reruns. You can notice you tell sometimes it gets a little hung because of, there we go. And now you see we're at 100%. We got 28 rounds. Push it out. You're good to go. So that's pretty much that was our big deal. And people that saw the first version, this is a massive update. Josh did a great job. It's endless amount of stuff you can do here. There's a lot of in-depth stuff that I'll get into with the members on the next one. I really wanted to keep it quick and short tonight. I got E9 running a little late now, so they're probably cursing me over on the other side. But that's pretty much it. You saw the highlights of it all. We're going to do a big promo on this. It's going to be part of our big, probably $500, $1,000 giveaway next week as well. We're going to tweet this out on a nice tweet, and everybody that retweets it's going to get double the entry into the drawings next week. Appreciate the support and everything. We're heading over to E9 now. If you have any questions on this, let myself or Josh ADHD know. We'll get to you as soon as we can, as we do all the time. If you're a current member, you know where to find us in Slack. Hopefully you guys like this. Come join if you hadn't yet. Give us a tryout. 30% off DFS Open. And hopefully we'll see all you guys next week at the Honda Classic. Have a good night. Thank you.